Good morning, good morning. Make sure morning. Yeah, we talking this morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Traveling Trucker. Welcome to Bert K, the Traveling Trucker. Good morning. Wanted to talk this morning about some of the things we got going on in this industry that's out of our control. Wanted to talk about some of the things we got that's going on that's out of our control as drivers, as owner operators, as carriers like myself. We got an alarming thing going on in this industry. We got an alarming thing going on in this industry. I'm over here getting loaded again this morning. I got a load that pays pretty good. Been running them this week. Pay pretty good. They go from Jacksonville, Florida, to Thomasville, Georgia. Pick up the day, deliver the night. Pay $1,000, like 156 miles. It's a good load of beef. But I wanted to talk about these companies that are shutting down, drivers that are losing their jobs daily, companies that are shutting down at an alarming rate. Truck drivers are losing their jobs daily. A lot of people think company versus owner operator is the way to go. From a stability standpoint, they might be right, but ain't none of these companies no more stable. Since 2020, we had 160 companies done shut their doors, trucking companies, since 2020. Here in North Florida, where I live at, in Florida, North Florida specifically, we got three companies that done shut down, major companies. One of them shut down this month called CNS Wholesale, Winn-Dixie. They finna let out 460 employees, and about 100 of them, 138 of them were delivery drivers. 138 was delivery drivers, another 15 work around the yard. So that's a total of 151 people that's going to be unemployed. Drivers, 480 total. Also, Yellow Freight, which this happened to them about 4 years ago, they shut down. But another one is Davis, which Davis makes sense. Davis Freight out of Stark, Florida, North Florida. They was a major distributor to Winn-Dixie. So when Winn-Dixie closing down, it only makes sense that they closing down. So a lot of people are always having this argument which one is better, be for a company guy or owner operator. I really can't tell you which one, but I know what I'm doing. I'm a carrier slash owner operator, started as owner operator. Some people think it's better to be a company driver. I kind of tend to agree in some aspect because you got stability, but you also got people telling you what to do at every moment. It's hard to be a company driver right now because most of these companies are putting these forward-facing cameras in your truck, and they fine people for everything. If you're just joining the channel, thank you. My name is Bert. Call myself the Traveling Trucker. You know how difficult it is to drive with a forward-facing camera, and they're looking for everything. One of the particular people I know, you can't smoke while you're driving because that's why they give you smoke breaks. You can't eat while you're driving. You can't be on the phone while you're driving. All of these things are send alerts to these forward-facing cameras, and then you get a strike against you, and after so many strikes, obviously you're out the door. So it's very difficult to drive for a company right now. But a lot of people think it's better to drive for a company than it is owner operator. I tend to disagree. Even though being an owner operator is unstable right now, you're more flexible. You get to do what you want to do. You have to be self motivated because ain't nobody making you go to work. Ain't no time clock. When you work for somebody, you got a clock. You're gonna punch and all of these kind of things. But ain't nobody making you go to work. It's very difficult with these companies closing right now to think that it's the only way to go is to be a company driver. Some of the companies that has closed, some of the companies that has closed down, left those guys stranded on the road. And that ain't no exaggeration. You can Google it for yourself. They literally send them a message on the Qualcomm or whatever type of communication devices they have and tell them you ain't got no more loads, find your way home. Now, some of them did better. Celadon shut down, but they brought their guys home. Uh, I'm trying to think of this one out of Chicago, LTI. LTI left their guys stranded. Left their guys stranded. Guys literally had trucks parked in truck stops and just had to find their way home. So I think if you go the company route and you're gonna be on the road, especially locally, that's not a big deal if you go on the road. But here's the thing: company drivers, it's finna be a shortage as well. Why? Because you got so many of these over the road companies that shut down. These company drivers are gonna, these companies are gonna be so inundated with drivers, they're gonna have a big pool of people to pick from. What do you think they're gonna do when they have a big pool to pick from? Of course, they're gonna pick the best. You know what else they're gonna do? They're gonna cut back on what they pay. They ain't gotta pay that much. Why do I need to pay you a lot of money if I ain't got to? Because I got a whole lot of people want your job. So the money is gonna continue to go down for the trucker, especially companies, because they got so many. You know, and once again, if you find this live, I appreciate you. I just want to share information, man, about company drivers versus over the road drivers. Both of them are volatile at this point right now. It really is. I just said like I'm doing something this week, get $1,000, go 158 miles, pick up in Jacksonville, Florida, go to Thomasville, Georgia, pick up this morning, and I'll deliver 7 p.m. this evening. It's chopped beef, quick pull. They get it off in about 45 minutes. They get it off quick and they load it, put it like that. So I'll take that all day, but it's nothing. It's just they doing a transfer. It's gonna be over within a week, and then I got to find the next thing. That's where being an owner operator is kind of tough because every day you own that load board. I don't use a dispatch service. I think a dispatch service is a disservice to you as an owner operator. They ain't doing nothing getting 8 to 10% for some shit you can do yourself. So damn a dispatch service. But a company, if you get with a good enough company, man, they got benefits and all that. Kudos, man. I was finna say like a UPS, but shit, UPS just laid off 20,000. 20,000. And the reason UPS eventually had to lay off so many, when Amazon first started open, UPS was their main carrier. UPS was delivering most of their packages. So as Amazon began to grow and get bigger, Amazon brought their own trucks in. People like myself, I used to work for them. I started in 2016 as a carrier, made good money with them. And then the more carriers they got, the bigger Amazon got, the less that money. Going back to what I was saying about company jobs, they started cutting money. In 2018, the holiday season was the best season I had with Amazon. From October, about right before Halloween to Christmas, I netted, not gross, I netted $58,000 with Amazon, and I did not leave the city of Jacksonville. I was just around the city, me by myself. I had 4 other trucks or 3 other trucks together, but I netted myself that kind of money because they were paying $500 a move. Well, then now they don't need UPS. Why? Because they got all their own trucks out there. So when they started off, they bought their own trucks, and they was setting up people to run companies, right? That's what Amazon was doing. So a lot of people was going, you had to have 5 Sprinter vans to get on with them. A lot of people, they would loan you the money to do it. They got them people in the door, and then they started the safety crap. So many people, because of missed appointments, because of things, they got these scoring systems that they go by, and people who had done bought trucks for them, 5 trucks, they in debt probably for 10 years, 5 Sprinter vans, they were shutting them down. They were stopping them from being able to haul loads. Once again, it was all about control. Walmart is finna do the exact same thing. Walmart, you're finna be able to haul directly for Walmart. You can haul Walmart free, similar to what Amazon did. And they finna get rid of Swift and all these if they can, because they know the long game. Now they probably gonna be paying good money coming out the door. Right now it's difficult to haul directly for Walmart because you gotta have 10 units. So the only way you can do that if you got 3 trucks and a friend of yours ain't got 3, y'all gonna have to co-op, come together, get 10 units. It's gonna be some great money to haul for Walmart initially. Initially, the reason I say that because as soon as Walmart figure it out, they're gonna do the same shit that Amazon did. When they get more trucks, more carriers than they need, they're gonna start cutting them rates. Right now, Walmart one of the best driver jobs to have, company driver. A lot of those cats making 120 plus in the southeast. So I can only imagine in the northeast where the cost of living is more, they're doing better. Out west where the cost of living they're doing better. But in the southeast you can do 120 easy for Walmart. Now you gotta work weekends, you gotta work nights, you gotta do all that shit. But really when it comes down to taking care of your family, you do what you have to do. Who gives a shit about working a weekend if you can make money? Right? So Walmart finna do the same thing. You gotta have 10 units designed and hauled directly for Walmart, which is going to be great for probably about 2 years, maybe even 3. Because what happened with Amazon, when Amazon started taking on people like myself, that thing lasted for about 4 years until they got so many carriers out there till they didn't need you no more. And then them rates started tanking, and now all the time I haul for Amazon is probably Prime Week and maybe during the holiday season. That's only if the rates are right. That's only if the rates are right. If that shit ain't right, I'm not hauling it. And I'm not judging no one else. Do what you have to do. But some of that stuff they paying $1.25, $1.30 a mile. You can't do it. You can't do it when you own your own truck. It's company guys that's making 89 cents a mile to $1 for some in some cases. So why the hell, as owner operator, do you think you can operate your truck? Because it costs about 63 to 75 cents per mile, depending on where you live at, to operate a truck, from fuel, maintenance, taxes, all of the things that come with running the truck. So if that's your operating cost, and they averaging about $1.29 a mile, brothers and sisters, I promise you it ain't worth it. Because the first major breakdown you had, you ain't even gonna be able to fix your shit. I actually had my truck got struck by lightning in 2014. 2014 got struck by lightning. I wasn't in it, thank God, but got struck by lightning. It would crank, but it wouldn't move. None of the electronics worked. Obviously, it fried everything. So what I ended up having to do, and this is something that y'all need to realize, just because you have a major breakdown, you might want to look at rent. Penske will still rent directly to you, semis and trailers. For a semi, they want like a $10,000 deposit, right? But say, for instance, like what I had when my truck got struck by lightning, I was down for 10 weeks. 10 weeks. Had I not rented that truck, I don't know what I would have did. But I rented a truck from Penske, and it was high as hell. It was $1,479 a week, $1,479. That did not include mileage. And they call themselves giving you a break because they wouldn't charge you the daily rate for the weekend. But it was still $1,479 without mileage. But what I did is I looked at what was the most populated freight. This happened in September. I looked at where the most populated freight happened to be the Midwest. So I worked my way to the Midwest, and when I got up there, I was making crazy money. I was averaging about $12,000 a week, and I'm not a driver that caps. And what I mean by cap, giving you a lie, it don't benefit me now. But even making that $12,000 a week after mileage, the fuel that I was paying, of course, out of my pocket, out of the rate that they was charging, I still was only clearing about 5,500. But that's better than sitting home and not making any money. So a lot of times, man, as owner operator, you always got to have a little something stashed up. Right now, man, I tell you, for anybody who don't, it's tough. That's where a company driver come in handy. That's where being a company driver is key. That's where being a company driver is key. If you have breakdowns and all that, you can sit in your seat, be comfortable, like this right here. Just wait on the tow truck or another truck. But when you break down, when you break down as an owner operator, you're not going to be that relaxed. I don't give a crap how much money you got. I don't give a crap what your action plan is, which we need one. Then you're going to be panicking. You're going to be panicking. Even if you know you got what you need to get you off the side of the road, you got a load on there. Like right now, I'm on a refrigerator load. I got dry vans. Dry vans, I don't worry as much because dry vans, that stuff is not perishable. And all of it is perishable if it's a food product. You understand what I mean? But with a reefer, you got about 3 days at the max. That's with a new unit of that fuel running out. And then whatever you got on there is perishable. Especially if it's a frozen load. In the summer, you probably got 2 days to run it before you got to find a way to get that stuff off your truck. So when you break down, that's kind of tough. So company drivers in that aspect is definitely a plus. It relieves the stress. You ain't gonna have to worry about it as much. But it's so many of these companies. Once again, since 2019, 160 truck companies has shut their door. The most recent here in Jacksonville, is Winn-Dixie. Winn-Dixie. If anybody know about the Southeast, Winn-Dixie is big. It was owned by Davis family, which was a big family here in Florida. Had a lot of real estate, still got a lot of real estate. Then they eventually sold out to CNS, something grocery. I can't think what their name. But they finna shut down that facility. If anybody ever been to Jacksonville to that facility, man, that's a huge facility. If I'm not mistaken, they got 4 different warehouses in that complex. A total of 480 employees is shut down this month. 480 employees got to find somewhere else to go to work. It's tough, man. So I would encourage everybody, man, to have you some kind of hustle, something else that you can do. I need to find one. I'm still trying to find my hustle. I'm trying to do this little trading thing. I'm kind of scratching the surface on that. Got a little bit of stocks and these things, but it ain't enough to be passive enough for you to really take care of yourself right now. So, hey man, I love this trucking game, but this trucking game is changing so much, has changed so much, continues to change so much. So, if you can get you a great company to work for, fine. Just know they are looking to replace you at the first mistake because they don't want the risk management no more. Used to be a time you can have an accident. That's what that CSA thing is all about too, by the way. Used to be a time you can have an accident, whether it was a bad one or not, and you can just jump to another company. Well, the whole thing about the CSA, that follows you now so they can track that. You can't just jump to other companies like that. So you have to definitely keep your stuff together. But they're finding ways to get rid of you. And like I said earlier in this video, that forward facing camera, God, it almost should be illegal. You can't smoke while you drive. Most companies, well, they got different little rules, but most of them say you're supposed to take your break on the side of the road or wherever to take your smoke break. You're supposed to stop to eat. So, it used to be a time you see a guy riding down the road, he eating on whatever, probably some shit he don't need because we truck drivers. So we truck drivers, so we probably eating on something we don't need, something that's less than optimal for our body. But that's all you're gonna get out of a truck stop in most cases. So they eating down the road, they smoking a cigar, they drinking whatever. Uh, you can't do that no more. With 90% of these companies, you can't do that. They require you to stop, pull to the side, take a. You can't even get on the phone. You can't even get on the phone. They don't want you distracted at all. And to me, that's worse than letting the guy just be who he is. A good driver is a good driver whether he's smoking, which I don't, whether he's drinking, not drinking alcohol, of course, but whether he's drinking a soda, drinking some water, whether he's eating on a sneaker bar, some crackers, that ain't gonna stop him. He's not that damn distracted where he can't do nothing. To me, trying to put a machine in the truck is never gonna work. You know, in Texas, Aurora got these autonomous trucks they already running on the road in Texas. In Texas, they're already on the road. In Arizona, they're already on the road. So, yeah, man, they trying to turn us into robots out here. I don't even know where the great job's going to be at anymore in the future. I'm 60 years old, so hopefully I won't have to know. I don't want to be Mr. Welcome to Walmart, man, but I got an exit plan. I got an exit plan to get up out of not just trucking, but the workforce altogether. Even if that includes selling my house and moving to one of these quote unquote third world countries. I travel a lot, you know, and you go to some of these other countries, you can live for a fraction of what you can live for right here in the United States. A fraction. So your money go a whole lot further. But I just wanted to go live, man. I'm trying to build my channel up. My name is Bert. I call it Bert K, the traveling trucker, because I love to travel and I'm a trucker. That's what pays for it. I've been a trucker. I'm 60 years old. I've been in the trucking since I was 18, even before. The reason I say even before, because I grew up in a farm industry over in Monticello, Florida. I used to drive tractors and trucks out there on the farm way before I was even legal to drive anything, before I was able to drive anything. So I've been driving all my life, and I love it. I love it. I just don't love, I love the business of trucking. I don't like the business in trucking. It's a dirty game. It's a dirty game. So if you come across this video, please give it a like. Please give it a share. And if you will, man, please subscribe to my channel. I'm going to build this channel up. I'm going to make it a good channel to pass out information for absolutely free. I'm not trying to sell anything. I see a lot of people out here selling their merch. They selling they hustling. I'm not mad at the hustle. But somebody gave me this information and I'm going to give it as well. So if you got any questions, man, inbox me. I'll answer for free. You know, and let's build this up. Let's build this community up. Until the next time, man, y'all be live.